You ever wonder why it's so hard to make a change that actually sticks? You start a new habit, you're super motivated, but then, poof, you're right back where you started. Well, today we're diving into this really powerful idea. The true change doesn't come from the outside in, it comes from the inside out.
I mean, we've all been there, right? You read a book, you try some new technique, you get this huge burst of motivation, and then a few weeks later, it's like it never happened. It's so frustrating. And according to our source material, that's because we're often trying to fix the completely wrong thing.
A lot of the time, we're just applying these little Band-Aid solutions. We're dealing with the stuff we can see, the tip of the iceberg. But the real issue, the thing that's causing all the problems, is massive and it's all hiding beneath the surface. Lasting change isn't about patching things up. It's about getting to the deep roots of our character.
So this really leads us to two totally different ways of looking at self-improvement. The source material calls them the personality ethic and the character ethic. And honestly, understanding the difference between these two is the first major step toward any real transformation.
Okay, first up is the personality ethic. This is all about that outside-in approach. It's the world of shortcuts and quick fixes. Imagine you're just painting the walls of a house with a crumbling foundation. Sure, it might look good for a little while, but it doesn't fix the real problem. It's all about perception and technique, not real substance.
And then, on the flip side, you have the character ethic. This is the inside-out approach. This is about rebuilding that same house, but starting with a brand new, solid foundation. Yeah, it's slower, and it's definitely harder, but it's built to last because it's based on who you actually are and the solid principles you live by.
And here's the bottom line, really. Authentic success and that genuine confidence that comes with it, it doesn't just pop up from a polished image. It grows from having a solid inner character. It's about being effective, not just looking effective.
So how do we even start building that character? Well, it all begins with understanding something called our paradigm, which is basically the fundamental way we see the world.
This quote is just so powerful. Think about what it means. None of us, not one, sees the world with perfect, objective eyes. All of our experiences, our beliefs, our values, they all create this personal lens that we see everything through. We're not seeing reality as it is, we're seeing our version of reality. And that lens, that's your paradigm. The source uses this fantastic metaphor for it. A paradigm is like a map. It's the mental map you use to make sense of and get around in the world. Pretty much everything you do, think, and feel is guided by this internal map you carry around. Now here's the absolute game changer of a question. What if your map is just wrong? If your map is inaccurate, it doesn't matter how hard you work or how positive your attitude is, you're still going to be lost. Trying to change your behavior without changing your map is like just trying to drive faster when you're already going in the completely wrong direction. And that brings us to the solution, the inside-out shift. See, it's not about becoming a better driver. It's about getting a whole new, much more accurate map. It's about a fundamental shift in how you see everything. So, if you really want to change your results, your relationships, your success, your happiness, you can't just tweak your actions. You have to go deeper. You have to change the very paradigm that's creating those actions in the first place. When you change yourself on the inside, your whole world starts to change with you.
Okay, so how do we draw a better map? We use these universal principles as our guide. Think of them like a true north on a compass. They're timeless, they don't change, and they apply to everybody, everywhere. These are the fixed points we can use to get our bearings right.
So the moment you start making your day-to-day choices based on principles like, say, honesty or integrity, instead of just what you feel like doing or what's convenient, you actually start redrawing your internal map. You create a new paradigm, one that's actually aligned with reality. And that's when you start seeing truly effective results.
All right, this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually start doing it? The good news is the source material gives us some really clear, actionable steps to begin practicing this inside-out shift, like right now.
Let's break these down real quick. First, just start observing your own reactions. The next time you get frustrated, just pause for a second and ask yourself, what belief is driving this feeling? Second, pick one of those limiting beliefs and actively challenge it this week. Third, take ownership. Instead of blaming other people or your circumstances, focus on improving one personal habit. And finally, recenter. Before you make your next big decision, consciously choose to base it on a core principle, like honesty or respect.
So let's bring this home and make it super practical for you right now. Real change doesn't start with some giant leap. It starts with one small shift in your paradigm. By just challenging one limiting belief, you start the process of redrawing your map. You start creating a foundation for real, lasting change. So, what's yours going to be?